All right, guys, we're back. We lost connection there for a second. So today's video, once again, is how do we assist agents with converting tenants into potential buyers. One of the reasons we like this strategy is the obvious, because there's more tenants than buyers at the moment. Mm-hmm. And if we could help agents convert more tenants, they're going to have more buyers and make more money. Okay, that's what we're doing. To summarize so far, what Dario and I have been speaking about is that the potential tenant has to have a minimum of a 660 credit score. Actually, the credit score could be 600, but ideally 660. They have to have a verifiable income, and you can elaborate more on that. That's W-2s, tax returns.
Tax returns, any type of disability.
And it has to be a 2-year minimum, right?
Yes, I mean, there's exceptions to that, but
okay.
2 years, what we're going to typically look for in terms of employment history.
Okay, awesome. And the third thing we were gonna start talking about is the down payment.
Okay.
So you said about $3,000 to $5,000, but give it to me in a percentage basis. How much do they need, you think, per property?
So it really, again, it depends, because there's so many different programs out there that my job is to provide the custom solution for each individual. Right, so that's where I say typically 3,000 to 5,000. We can typically cover what we need to do with that.
50,000.
That could be anywhere from 150 to maybe even closer to 200. So obviously, the higher you go in that price range, the more money I would suggest to have, because the last thing I want to do is put a client or have a client be in a situation where we've bought a house and now they can't afford to paint it or even move. Sometimes people forget that after you purchase that house and you've spent all the money to be able to get in there, you still need to be able to move, even if you need to get buy pizza and beer for your friends to help you move with their trucks, but those are things that you have to take into account. So being completely broke after closing is never an ideal situation. So the more money you can save, the better. It's not always going to be fully used 100%. That's not the goal of having money saved, but there are some requirements that a client will have to put some sort of money into the transaction.
Awesome. So let's summarize things again. If you have a client that is a tenant and you want to convert them into a buyer, they're going to require a minimum 600 credit score, ideally a 650, so they could get 80%, 80 to 90% of all the products out there. We're going to require income verification, 2 years ideally, W-2, tax returns, whatever the case may be. And 3, Dario is saying anywhere from 3 to 5. I'm thinking 3%.
That'd be nice.
Like 3%. So those are the qualifications that you're going to require in order to really waste time with a potential a tenant that could be your potential buyer. Now, we talked about the requirements. Now, let's talk about the perception and why. And I've seen it myself. I've seen hundreds of rental apps where people are applying for these rentals and have good income. They have the 660, sometimes 700, which is crazy. And why are they not buying? And you mentioned something to me earlier that you think is the education is not there. Mm-hmm. But if you could pinpoint what's the main reason that this is happening, what would you think?
I think a lot of people are scared and they don't really know what programs are available and out there to be able to help them. People are fearful of what they do not know, right? So if they figure if they don't try, they can't be rejected. Or they might think that if they try to purchase a house and they're rejected or declined now, that prevents them from being able to do something in the future. So that's not true. And I wanted to go back to something else that we were talking about, right? The 2-year employment history. There's a perception out there that people think that it has to be 2 years on the same job. That's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is stable, gainful employment. Right. So if in the last 2 years you've had 2 or 3 jobs, but every single time you're taking a step up, to be able to get, better benefits, more pay, that type of thing, that's what we're looking for. Obviously, if you're bouncing around from job to job to job to job, then that's not going to be as beneficial. But, it does not necessarily have to be in the same at the same job or with the same employer.
Awesome. So last time we summarized this.
Yes.
I love summarizing things because it gets people to record it, in their brains. Okay, so we're gonna, if you wanna convert a tenant, they need to have ideally minimum 600, ideally 660 to get most of the products out there. Mm-hmm. You need a 2-year employment. Yep. It could be a step up. It could be they could go from one company to the other as long as it's on the same field. Yep. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
All right. And that's going to be verifiable through W-2s, tax returns, whatever the case might be. So far, so good. And I've seen a lot of people that qualify for this. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people. And then the 3%, which the 3% to me, 50% of those potential tenants can do it. I think that's the biggest challenge. Having the 3%, because a lot of them, they're going through the transition of their lease is almost over, so they need the first month, the deposit. They need to spend money on, how do you call it? Transferring the stuff, how do you call it?
Moving expenses.
Expensive and stuff like that. So, and usually people that are renting are in a budget. Right. So I would say that's the one part that you will have to work the most with your tenant, which is helping them create a budget so they could get to that 3%.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That to me, most of the tenants have that, but I would want to bet where they get stuck is on that 3%.
Yeah.
So to our agents, especially to Greystone agents, my advice is set them up into a savings plan, where you say, okay, did you know that as of right now you qualify based on X, Y, and Z, but the only piece you're missing is having a couple of $1,000. Yeah. So let's try to make that in the next 6 months, or let's try to make that by the end of your lease.
Yeah.
Let's make that happen. What do you think?
Within 10 months, so that they have some time.
Within 10 months, so they have 2 months to plan and look for a property and everything else. Yeah. Okay. I think this has been very helpful. Anything else you want to add?
I think that's it. I just want to remind everybody that what we're talking about here, our summary has always been, kind of the basics, right? There's a lot more that goes into an actual mortgage process. So your situation and my situation aren't the same, and they're not going to fit within the same box. But that's where, the different programs and things come in, where we can solve and provide solutions to be able to find that. So
absolutely. That's why you want to become a Greystone agent. Because constantly we're trying to find angles of how to create more business for you. And Dario, I'm so blessed to have Dario as one of our partners, sources that is so professional. He has so much experience in this field that could really elevate us too as agents in agency. So already summarized it. I promise I'm not going to summarize it again. So the tip for the agents is be in the lookout for these things that we talked about.
Yes.
Now that we identify all of this, what is the next step? Do we send you the email and phone number or the contact information? What type of criteria would you need to hit the floor running?
So you could, there's obviously different ways of communicating. We're trying to, Jorge and I are working on a standardized version for all the Greystone agents. But for right now, everybody's part of the WhatsApp group. So you guys can send me information there. You can always email me, text me. My phone number has not changed in 13, 14, 15 years. I don't know.
Your phone number is 813. I don't know.
My phone number is 813-766-8725. The office.
Repeat that two more times.
813-766-8725. And last time, 813-766-8725.
Wow, that sounds like a great salsa or merengue for 92.5.
Yeah, we did have Speedy listening to the last one. So to summarize, now I'm gonna.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
it's contagious.
It is contagious. I like it. I'm gonna have to do this every single time. So just make sure they have credit. Make sure they have income. We're here to help with everything else. So just send us the information. I'm truly blessed to have you as a friend and business partner too. Greystone has been a very good company, and I'm proud of you for all the success you've achieved. So look forward to continuing our business relationship and making you, the agents, some more money.
Guys, if you're not attempting this, if you have a ton of tenants and you're not converting at least 5% or 10% of them, you're leaving money on the table. So hopefully this helps. Thank you so much. Remember, at Greystone you invest, we do the rest. Homesforincome.com, that is homes, number 4, income.com. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.